Welcome, esteemed viewers, to a comprehensive exploration of one of the pivotal eras of modern history, the Cold War. As a period characterized by ideological tension, military standoffs, and profound political changes, its impact continues to reverberate through contemporary geopolitical landscapes. In this video, we shall dissect the intricate progression from the chaos of World War II to the highly structured tensions of the Cold War, focusing on strategic decisions, key events, and their long-lasting implications. The prelude to World War II. The 1930s witnessed the ominous rise of the Nazi-fascist front, serving as a harbinger of the global conflict that would become World War II. The seizure of power by Adolf Hitler and the establishment of Axis powers created an environment ripe for violence. This period of escalating hostility ultimately led to the infamous invasion of Poland in 1939, marking the outbreak of World War II. As the conflict intensified, the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin declared the Great Patriotic War in 1941, galvanizing its populace to defeat Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan by May 9, 1945. This victory became a cornerstone of Soviet identity and ideology, resonating well beyond the Soviet era. Post-war division and the Cold War. The conclusion of World War II set the stage for a bifurcated global arena, dominated by two major blocs, the United States and its Western allies versus the Soviet Union. In 1947, the Truman Doctrine articulated the US's approach to containing communism, evident through its support of anti-communist forces in Greece and the implementation of the Marshall Plan in 1948. This was followed by the formation of NATO in 1949. The Soviet counterpart, the Warsaw Pact, was established in 1955, solidifying the ideological divide. This bifurcation underscored global diplomacy, marked by a series of confrontations and a persistent threat of nuclear warfare. Tools of the Cold War. The nuclear arms race became an emblem of Cold War competition, exemplified by the development of increasingly sophisticated intercontinental ballistic missiles. The meticulously strategized Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 epitomized these tensions, as the world teetered on the brink of nuclear warfare, a potent reminder of the era's precarious balance. The economic burden of this arms race was not merely fiscal. It exacted significant resource allocation impacting various sectors within both superpowers. Soviet military interventions. Demonstrations of Soviet military assertiveness during this period cannot be overlooked. The brutal suppression of the Hungarian Revolution in 1956 highlighted the USSR's commitment to maintaining its sphere of influence. Again, in 1968, the invasion of Czechoslovakia during the Prague Spring intensified criticism and eroded Soviet credibility even among Allied communist factions. Later, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 revealed the USSR's ongoing reliance on military force as a foreign policy tool. The protracted conflict became a quagmire, exacerbating political and economic strains within the Soviet Union. The ideological rift. The ideological rift widened as Soviet actions increasingly diverged from the idealistic narratives of socialism, casting a shadow over its international standing. Whereas socialism promoted ideals of equality and peace, the reality of these interventions starkly contradicted these principles. This period witnessed a shift among global peace movements, which distanced themselves from what was perceived as cynical manipulation of socialist rhetoric for imperious ends. The role of Marxist ideology. Marxist ideology, inherently critical of capitalist structures, also offered a lens through which to critique Soviet policies. Marx himself had expressed persistent opposition to Tsarist Russia, recognizing it as a formidable barrier to proletarian emancipation. His historical texts, such as Revelations of the Diplomatic History of the 18th Century, although not directly predictive, resonate in contemporary analyses of Russia's geopolitical maneuvers, particularly concerning Ukraine. Lessons and reflections. Wars facilitate the dissemination of ideologies that consolidate nationalism and amplify authoritarian structures, as power centralizes within militarized bureaucracies. Philosopher Simone Weil's reflections on warfare reveal the intrinsic dangers posed by unchecked state apparatus, serving as a cautionary tale for future generations. This narrative offers lessons on vigilance against the erosion of democratic practices, emphasizing a need for balanced power and cautious diplomacy. In summary, the Cold War era, while defined by its polarity and tensions, offers invaluable insights into the operations of power, ideologies, and international relations. As we reflect on this complex period, it becomes imperative to acknowledge the lessons that ensure we navigate future global challenges with awareness and strategic foresight. Thank you for joining this in-depth exploration of history's enduring lessons.